Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Delynn Miller joining us again, the co-founder of Pursuit Institute and executive leadership coach. She does so much to help you. And today we're talking more about, the mindset process and, of course, the power of that. She's also an author, has an app, and she is on a mission to help you and her husband to really live your best life. So help me welcome Delynn Miller back to the show. How are you?
Hello, Jill. So happy to be here.
Pleasure to have you back. And sad to say this is our last podcast, but
I
we will say
know.
till next time, we won't say goodbye because it's been an amazing few months getting to know you, all you do, and your whole story, how our family just transported down to an amazing island to live the best life. And they're helping so many with their institute and so many other ways. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your transformative mindset coaching and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I came from, as we've talked about in the past, I came from a space where I really wanted to be more intentional about how I was spending my time, recognizing that my time was dictating kind of my attitude. And I felt up until about 10 years ago, I felt like I was having to work really hard to check my attitude. I don't know about you. My mom always used to say to me when I was a teenager, she would always be like, Delynn, change your attitude, change your attitude.
Yep.
And I found, yep. And so I found I'm going, okay, I'm in my 30s and I'm having to change my attitude constantly. And like, I was having to like pep myself up to like go into work every day and pep myself up to like, and it was just like, that's a lot of effort to do that. And I just kept asking myself, how do I make this easier? How do I make this easier on myself? And that started with, where am I spending my time and who am I spending my time with? And I started setting some standards and some boundaries around that. And it's been an absolute game changer in how I live all aspects of my life, whether it's personally or professionally. And it's made decision making a lot easier. Like I feel like I don't have so much of my attitude was driven by like, oh man, I got to make this decision on things that like I didn't even care about. I'm like, why am I having to make a decision about this? I don't really care how it turns out either way, right? And that was like my first clue that maybe I wasn't living my most on purpose life. And so I decided to make a change. And now I love to teach people how to make the exact same changes in their life because I realize like this is like a bit of an epidemic that we're in here in our current society is people just like sucking it up and doing their things again, personally or professionally or both. Typically, in my experience, after being in this arena for the last 10 years, if you're doing it in one area of your life, you're typically doing it in both areas of your life and all areas of your life. And yeah, we got to be done with that and we got to quit normalizing it.
Well, thank you for that. And
Yeah.
we all have some issues with this, I would say. And still to
Yep.
this day, I do as well. And I know that you're here helping, shape people's minds in a sense. So it's transformating power of mindset. I know we're going to talk a little about harnessing all that and how the role of the mindset can really transform us to get this amazing outcome that we want. And before we continue, hold on one second. I just want to make sure we highlight the website, DelynMiller.com.
Yeah.
DelynMiller. You want to just talk about your book and app and signature program before we start?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you go to my website, DelynMiller.com, you can actually scoop up. I had recently, I guess, gosh, it's been a couple months since it came out now, but it's now like top of the charts in a lot of the different categories, which has been really, really cool. It's called You Can't Mess This Up, and you can grab it off my website. You can go to Amazon to grab it too. And there's an app that we've created as well. And the goal was just to make it easy because a lot of people understand and they listen to stuff like this. And they go, okay, I want change in my life, but I don't know what level of change. I don't know what type of change. I don't know even how to get started. Honestly, download the app. It's called Pursue You. Again, if you go to my website, we have it linked up right there and it's free. It's free. And then you can kind of choose your path from there. But it's like having a coach in your pocket. Cheering you on.
Beautiful. And we're excited that you're back doing this because you've been doing this for quite some time and your success rate is impeccable and all the people she works with. And it's true, it can happen to you. You can really get the best life ever and you can change those things. So, first and
Yeah.
foremost, let's talk about how the process works and mindset, right? Because I know you want to talk about mindset and how it influences behavior, decision making. And
Yeah.
so I'll let you get started.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, Jill, that we either do things because we're like a two-part being, right? We're like we're having this human being experience, and then there's this whole other side of us. Whatever you believe, it doesn't really matter what you believe is bigger than us, but we can all agree there is something out there that's bigger than all of us. And
Yep.
that makes up this whole other side of us. Call it your spirituality, call it your soul, call it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. But the fact is when we get caught up in our humanness, that means we're paying attention through our five senses, right? We're if I can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch it, then it's there. But being a human just means that basically we do things habitually, and a lot of people are just going through life and doing all the things, and they don't realize that they're not living it consciously. And even you might be going, I don't know, I live a pretty
Yep.
great life. I like the results I'm getting. I would challenge that and say, could you imagine, like, you've been doing this all unconsciously, like not necessarily with a plan, not knowing how you're doing it. You just ended up in this scenario. Could you imagine what your life would look like if you actually did it consciously and could duplicate whatever you're bringing into your life? Call it manifestation, call it
Yep.
whatever you're bringing in. Could you imagine if you could actually duplicate it? And I was actually chatting with someone this morning within she's new to our 2% club. Okay, so we have this amazing club at the within
Oh
the
yeah.
Pursuit
Tell
Institute,
them the two
and
tell them what that is.
it's called the 2% club because we do and we think like the top 2% of humanity. Okay, and we're doing the thing. So she's new in, and she's really pumped up. She's like, oh, I just manifested this car. And it was just like, that's amazing, that's awesome. And then I say, could you duplicate it? Could you duplicate that? And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, could you do it again? uh, that's what I mean. And she's just like, I'm like, that's okay. That's okay. Keep hanging out here and we'll teach
And
you
we'll
how to
get you
duplicate
get
it.
up
Because
there.
if you like, that's great that you just got this amazing car and you've got the house and you got and your business just did whatever. And like, that's amazing. But the goal is to do it all over again. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it like building a house, working on your mind is like working on the foundation, right? But if you have a
Yes.
crap
You
foundation,
can't. If it's a cracked, yep.
everything,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. You can put in the best windows, you could have the best contractors, it's all going to crumble. Okay. And this is how people don't get sustainable results because they have a crappy foundation and they're just purely going by what they can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, right? I'll buy this when I see the money, not
Yep.
when I have the money, this is how it works, and I'll buy this, right? And it's just a whole different level of belief, not just in yourself, but in this greater universe that we're working with.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
Totally different level of thinking. And when people think of the mind, they're going like, oh, okay, my brain and how it works. Your mind is not your brain. Your brain is like the switching station within your human body that like tells you to touch your nose or what to say, but it's not your mind. Your mind is in every single cell of your body. And it's this energy, it's working with this energy source that's flowing to and through you. And honestly, like the top 2%, because you guys, you got to think like, I would even say the top 1% of the big money earners, right? In the world, they're earning 1% of humanity is earning 97% of all the money being seen,
Yeah.
right? How is that happening? It's
How?
not because
What's
they
the
work,
secret? What are they doing?
they're, they are not focused on what they can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. I can tell you that much. Okay. Not we, the greater we, the
Yes.
other 98%, 99%, arguably, are going, how did they do it? How did they do it? But like I've said before, if somebody's getting results that you want, don't ever ask them how they did it. That's the mechanical part of it. And that's like such a small piece. And that part's easy. It's predictable, right? the other part is, and be asking them, what are they thinking about? What are they thinking about? Because it's their thoughts
Yeah.
that are then like
Wow.
creating this like very direct message out to the ether that then, and they're following their intuition. Honestly, if you can think about thoughts that you actually want instead of what you're scared of, and then listen to your intuition, you are using your sixth sense, which is way more powerful than the other five. The other five are like here to keep you safe in the moment, right? Like, oh, I can smell the fire, I can see the car coming, and that tastes bad. Like they're here to keep you safe in the moment. So you can be grateful for them, right? But they're not going to get you to where you want to go. It's that sixth sense, that communication, that's the absolute game changer. Absolute game changer.
Oh my gosh. But we want your secret to your success. And you have that. You could teach us these techniques, right, to help create and cultivate this mindset that
Yep.
some of us don't
Yep.
have yet.
That's right. Absolutely.
Could you share
Absolutely.
some of these like techniques and exercises to create this
Well,
mindset or how?
yeah. So when there's, so I have a program that I always, whenever I work with somebody, whether it's like in a group coaching atmosphere or with my one-on-one clients, I've always walked them through the 12 steps that I have within the One Thought Away program. And it's kind of aptly named because you are literally one thought away from getting
Mm-hmm.
anything that you desire. And even I just set up a challenge, you guys. If you download the app, okay, download the Pursue You app, and you can access my 30-day One Thought Away challenge in there. Even if you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can like go that intense and immersive, just even do the challenge. Okay. And you will be taught the system to get whatever it is that you want. And it's honestly, the 12 steps don't change. That's the best part about them. And they're designed to be a step-by-step process to get you from here to here, from point A to point Z. And there's like a whole alphabet in between.
All right. Remind us how we can contact you, Delynn.
Yeah, make sure you go to my website. You can honestly follow me on all the social media spots: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, all the places. And yeah, check out everything on my website. Download my book. And you know what? We break a lot of this down. And I actually, at the very end of my book, I break down the 12 steps as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Delynn Miller here. Don't
Yeah.
forget to pick up the book, the app, and the signature program, One Thought Away. I was still here talking about, how we could get this mindset and how do you cultivate it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I want to hear some more of the stories of how you've helped others transform their lives through mindset shifts as well.
Yeah. Honestly, Jill, over the last decade, I have watched people build out successful businesses that they weren't like. I've had clients that were in business for years, desiring more, making 7, 8 figures within their businesses. I've watched people go from not having, thriving relationships to amazing relationships. I've gone from watching people be super unhealthy and literally on death's door, like attracting in every disease in that could possibly be brought in, to being super healthy. And the biggest part and what I love is it really doesn't matter what your goal is. The 12 steps, they get you there. And they get you there understanding that it gets to be easy. It doesn't, like, life's not meant to be hard. We as humans are making it hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It gets to be really, really easy, and it gets to be fun. And in the process, you get that. By the end of working together, you're just like, okay, I get that this gets to be easy because you have so much evidence that
Mm-hmm.
you've collected over the way. And that's the point of having a coach, right? Is someone to go, hey, like, do you see this happening? Because we're constantly manifesting in our life. We're constantly bringing things into form, but because we're doing it unconsciously, we're not collecting the evidence along the way. Right.
Yep.
So I bet if everybody took an instance in their mind and was like, okay, this is where I am right now. Well, how did I get here? Okay, well, and then you connect the dots looking backwards. You go, okay, well, I had met this person and they introduced me to this. And then I met this person. And then I got that job, which introduced me to this person. And you'll be able to see how it works. But imagine if you have a future idea and you knew it was that predictable. Like you don't even need, you just know that it's there, even if you don't have the ability to connect the dots looking backwards. You just know that it's your truth.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
fascinating. I want to be part of the
Yeah.
2%, and I will one day. I need to start.
Do
I need to
it. Do
start.
it.
I don't want, I will be. I will be. I have to change my mindset. Oh,
There
I
you
do.
go. So, Jill, super,
Yes.
super curious because
Go ahead.
let's switch roles for a second here. So,
Sure.
you and I have been hanging out together for like 3 months now. What is the biggest thing that you have learned?
That anything is possible, that I could be you, I could be walking in your shoes, I could have everything I want too. Why not me? And I'm motivated more, but I'm still stuck because I'm stuck with the whole, well, I'm a single mom, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to pay the mortgage, I'm trying to do this. So I have to make excuses. And like, I'm like, if I just clean up my house the way I want to get done, I could start focusing on moving forward. And I never have enough time because I'm always with my kids to get stuff done. Like, I feel mentally right now, first in my life, I need to clear out my clutter and physically in my home. And I feel like that can open up new gates, but I can't move. I'm so stagnant because
Yeah.
there's so much at the house that has to be done that I can't do. And I started taking stuff out of the attic. I started selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but now I got to do the garage. Haven't had time. I'm just like stressed out about it, and it weighs on me, the
Yep.
piles. And once I get through that, I feel like I could do it. But then is that just an excuse, or what's going to happen next? But I know that's my block right now. It's my
Yep.
block. And now, okay, then
Yep.
the kids will be off for school, and it's like, oh my gosh. So I need help, and I need help with my kids to get I really feel like I do, like, because in order to
Yeah.
get my life together, but right, I don't have a mom to watch them. I don't have anyone so it's just, I'm stuck, but I have to figure it out. I don't know what I'm going to do. But honestly,
Yep.
I've learned that I could do this. Again, I don't want to pick up and move to an island. Everybody has a different dream, right? I
Yep.
want to pay off my mortgage. I don't want to work as hard. I want to buy a new car, which I can't afford to do right now. I want to go on those vacations and do those things, and I do save to do those type of things, but I know I can have more, and I feel it, but I'm still
Yep.
stinted and stuck. But you have
Yeah.
been inspiring, your story, your client stories, and it's my time. Is just a matter of when is it going to be my time? And tell me what
Yeah.
you think about what I'm saying, because do you see me as a
Yeah.
person who's making excuses?
No, I think, and honestly, and I know I've said this before,
Being
everybody's
honest,
doing
but
the best they can with their current
yes.
level of awareness, right?
Hmm.
So you're responding to your life circumstances right now with
Yeah.
the tools that you currently have
I
in
don't.
your toolbox, right? So when everybody's like, I mean, it maybe it's an excuse. At the end of the day, your desire for change has to be greater than your desire to stay the same. Like it wasn't until I got so sick of my own crap and like listening to myself, right? Because it's one thing to like say it out loud, but it's like you're repeating that over and over in your head all the time, right? You once you get sick of your own self, then you're just like, all right, like I just knew like I knew that I'm like something's got to change because it is not sustainable for me to keep going at this rate, right? And I'm going to be burnt out, and I'm not going to be living the life that I want to live. And we all have evidence that we're here
Yeah.
until we're not.
Yeah.
We're here until we're not, right? So it's like, how do we want that to look? And it's such a big thing. Like there's always those, like for a lot of people, if it's not the money paradigm, it'll be a time paradigm, right? Like and when I say paradigm, I mean your habits, right? Like when people, if somebody doesn't have money, it's only because you're in the habit of not having it, not because it's not, you don't have access to it. Like when I talk about this greater energy, we all have access to it. And it doesn't pick or choose. It doesn't care whether you live in America or the UK or Africa or Indonesia. Like it doesn't care. Like it doesn't care what color your skin is. It doesn't care what your sexual orientation is. It is impartial, and we all have access to it. It's just a matter of tapping into it and using the tools. So like your mind, just like your respiratory system was designed, like I'm sitting here talking and I'm not thinking about having to breathe right now. My respiratory system is just doing its thing. I don't have to ask my heart to beat blood throughout my body. It's a system. It was designed that way. When you start using this energy source and working, like there's actually a bunch of universal laws, not man-made laws, totally different thing. I always used to joke with Dave. So, he used to be a police officer and he was like in law enforcement. And I always used to tell him, I'm in universal law enforcement. Okay. Like I make sure that people understand, and this is a part of my One Thought Away program. I'm like, not only am I going to teach you the 12 steps, but there is an actual law that, just like gravity, right? Like it's a law and you cannot break it. It doesn't pick sides. It doesn't care. It's like guaranteed. And when you understand them, then you'll start to notice them. Okay. Like the law of opposites, like everything has an opposite. We've talked about that one. I've talked about a lot of these universal laws. I just haven't called them universal laws. Okay.
Got
so
it.
when you
Yep.
start paying attention to them and your awareness grows, then you can start seeing them in action. I mean, nature shows us all of them constantly. And then you go, okay, how can I use it to get what I want? And so every lesson in One Thought Away is reinforced with the universal law. So I only focus on like what I think are the 12 key ones. The fact is there's a ton of them. So I have like 12 key laws that we linked up with like 12 key lessons. And the goal really is to go, okay, what are those beliefs that are holding me back? Right. So even just in your example, I would be like, okay, there's like a money belief, there's a time belief, there's like the single mom belief. It's like the moment it happens, it's a whole belief system that comes with that. Right.
That's so true.
And so there's like there's that one. And then it's like but you have to understand any chaos that you're experiencing out here is as a reflection of the chaos that you're experiencing inside. Like this is the number one question I get. It's like, how do I know if I'm like, look at your results. Just look at your results. Like I can't make them up because they're your results, right? Like
True.
look at your calendar, look at your bank account,
Yeah.
look at your environment, look at your relationships, look at your health. Like I can tell you exactly what you're thinking about without you even opening your mouth, just purely by someone being like, tell me my results, because anybody can make it look rainbows and unicorns. I think so many of humans are obsessed with that. And it's like making it look a certain way doesn't change it.
Nope.
Right. It doesn't change the fact that you're human and we're all doing the best we can. So this is never one of those, and I know I've said this a lot too, but it's like, it's never an opportunity to be like, oh, like my mom taught me this, or my grandma taught me this, or my teachers taught me this, or the school system taught me this. It doesn't matter. They did the best they could with their current level of awareness. So it makes sense. Our only job as humans is to grow our awareness and to follow that sixth sense, because honestly, it's that intuition, that feeling that you get. Because like a lot of people don't know what their intuition even sounds like or feels like, right? They're like, is it a voice? Like, am I listening to voices now? Or
am I crazy?
They think of the movie like, am I seeing dead people? Like, what's going on? It's like, no. It's a feeling that you'll get. Like, and we often call it as humans, we'll go, oh, it's your gut feeling, or we'll follow your heart. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. But it's like, you'll feel it. But what happens is that voice comes in. Voice might not be a voice for you. It might be for me, it's more of a feeling, right? Or like my scalp will get all tingly, or I'll break out in goosebumps, just like full body chills. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. Okay, I get it. Right. And it's just like, but what happens is that happens. And then my habits come in, right? So I have this, you should do this, or talk to this person, or reach out, or do this within your business. But then my habit will come in and be like, you're not worthy. You don't have time for that. That's going to cost money. That's all of them, right? All of the kind of other voices come in and they're louder. So they typically win. And so a lot of people, they'll just be like, it's honestly, it's so distracting listening to that than tapping into this. Right. So, but honestly, when you start working with that voice, and it's so much quieter on purpose, and because our world is so distracting, it's like, and I think that's what I've loved about being in Barbados the most, is because it's quiet here. I mean, obviously I'm not quiet,
right?
I'm not quiet at all, but I just needed to get away from the noise for a little bit. right? Like we're headed back to Canada for a few months over the summer. We like to go back, visit with family and friends and do the Canadian things that we like to do. But usually by the end, I'm like, hey, I want to get back to the quiet again. Like I need to be able to tap into that. And I find it so much easier to do it from here.
Beautiful.
So you just got to find your spot.
Find your happy. And in closing today, we have just 3 minutes left in the show. How did you want to leave off? And this is like our goodbye kind of. Oh.
I know. Honestly, everybody, if you're even just listening for the first time, go back and listen. We have lots of awesome episodes that we've been tapping into. But just go to the website. And even on the website, there's a link where you can connect right with me, like book a call, and we'll see if I'm even a good fit for you. You might be like, oh, she sounds great on talking to Jill on this podcast. But we'll see if I'm a good fit for you. But honestly, if you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, I'm getting sick of my own damn self here, I need to like do something,
Sounds like it's time.
Sounds like it's time.
It
Follow
sure
that
does.
piece and don't make any decisions outside of that voice. Like when you get in the habit of making decisions from that desire for that, whatever you're being given, that honestly, that's where your life will truly become the life that you desire versus like just going around in circles, hoping that maybe you can hop off the hamster wheel at some point.
That's perfect analogy. The hamster wheel. That's exactly what's in my mind. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we got to get off that hamster wheel. We want to live our best life. And that's what Delynn has been doing here. And by the way, just share a little bit about your husband too, how he's involved and also what else he does too. Do you mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So Dave is self-retired police officer, SWAT guy, intelligence guy. And he has a big passion for and a really big goal to eliminate human trafficking, and especially when it comes to children. So he has entire programs built out. You can go to pursuitpathways.com and check out all the work that he's doing. And honestly, talk about someone that has taken the parts of his job that he loved and followed his passion. He's doing it. And it's honestly, he knows he's on a big mission because it is like growing by like, just in the last year, it's grown by 300%. And it keeps doing that over and over again, right? So he knows he's got his hands full, but honestly, I've never met a more passionate and determined person to take it on. So very exciting.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Looking forward to the next time we connect. And again, till next time, we'll be in touch, okay? And Delynn, tell us how we contact you one more time.
Make sure you go to DelynnMiller.com and you can grab up the app, grab up the book, follow me on all the social media platforms, and make sure that you book a call because honestly, I'd love to connect with you, even just hear your experience of how you love the podcast as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here as always. Okay. I'll miss talking to you, but we'll talk again soon, okay?
I hope you will hear me in your head often, Jill. That's what I hear. I hear from people all the time. They're like, Delynn, I can hear you telling me.
I will. I can't wait. Thank you. I can't wait to see you in person too when I come visit one day. I'm inviting myself down to come stay with you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. We'll talk soon, Delynn. Have a fantastic day. Bye, sweetheart.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.